What up? I was about to do my power move on y'all. How's everybody doing? We are about to bust a myth today. Does financial scarcity stop you from adapting? In other words, do you feel like you have to have money in order to adapt? Do you feel like money is the barrier to you being able to adapt? Let's talk about it today. I'm going to wait till everybody come up in here, and we are about to chop it up. We are going to drive this message home about the courage to adapt. We are all faced with a question mark right now, right? Everybody is thinking about what's the next move. Everybody's trying to figure out, where's technology taking us? How is that going to continue to be a disruptor in different industries? Certain industries won't be here anymore in 10 years from now. That's the prediction for a lot of them, but for quite a few of them, based on the speed at which we're growing, I think they're going to be gone even sooner. So are you thinking about adaptation? And let me just say this, because this just came up for me. I don't want us to think about it from a space of fear, per se. I want us to think about it from a space of empowerment and creativity and greater possibility and inspiration and motivation, right? Hopefully, you also have some sort of, for me, spiritual life that gives you an anchor to lean on when you do experience things like fear and stress and anxiety as it pertains to your present and looking into your future, So if you do have that anchor, I highly recommend that you nurture that relationship regularly while you take these bold, uncertain steps into the unknown, right? Hey, everybody, welcome to the conversation. Hey, Victor. Hey, Tiffany. Pootlis, what up? Welcome, welcome. Today's question on the sale block. Does financial scarcity stop you from adapting? Who feels like they have to have the money to adapt? Let's keep it 100. Throw it in the chat, because I'm going to talk to you about when I was probably the most stressed, the most scared in my adult life, and how money was the least thing that I had. Okay? I was dealing with financial scarcity. And what it did for me is it forced me to be resourceful. It forced me to think outside of the box. It forced me to look into other avenues where maybe, if I didn't have what I thought I needed to invest in, the more lofty thing, or maybe even just period, if I thought I needed to invest in something, is there a way for me to do it for free? Is there a way for me to do it for a nominal fee? I started to think, what else is out here? What else can I do? And I also started to scale back on the extras. So, for example, I was living like a Groundhog Day. You know that movie? I think, I want to say Ferris Bueller, because he played Ferris Bueller. What was his name? The star of the movie in Groundhog Day, which is basically like wash and repeat. You wake up, same day, go through the motions, nothing pretty much changes. Hey, y'all, welcome to the conversation. Things don't really change. You know what I mean? You're kind of just going on remote control. Right? But within my Groundhog Day, I probably, if I never see another veggie sandwich from Subway, it might be too soon. Like, I ate it every day. And the reason that I did is, or almost every day, when I was dealing with this stressful time in my life, I knew that I was getting ready to have to push myself beyond what I'd ever pushed myself to get out of the space that I was in. I knew that I possibly was looking at a lot of early mornings and late nights, and still had to get up and go hard in the paint. And in order to do that and not continue to stress my body out even more, I was like, I gotta eat well. I got to figure out how to eat well on a budget, right? So that I have the energy, I have the clarity to do whatever I need to do. Welcome to the conversation, everybody. Thank you. Was it Bill Murray? Okay, thanks, beloved King. So I ate Mostly, I want to say I ate vegan during that time. Mostly vegan for sure. I want to say mostly vegan for sure. And you know, gosh, so many things are bubbling up in my mind to say. You know, a lot of the books that I wrote were at the time when I had the least amount of funds. It was at a time where I was dealing with the biggest question mark in my adult life. Those books were birthed out of authenticity. My first book, Got Motivation, How to Stay Motivated. I was going through that at the time that I was trying to figure out what's next to do. And I was telling people in the midst of the storm what I was eating, how I was going to the canyon every day, every morning, how I was getting up earlier than I'd ever gotten up, how I was breaking patterns, old patterns that weren't producing the results I wanted, how I was pushing myself into a greater state of discipline. Hey everybody, welcome to the conversation. The next book, Find and Pursue Your Passion, Even with a Regular Job. That was at a time where I got a regular job to make ends meet. And what was I doing? I was still researching. I was still studying champions every day. I was still cocooning away from the rest of the world while I got myself together. I made the sacrifices. And I wrote about it. And you know what? I want to tell you something even more special about that, as far as like even writing the books. I remember when the person that I was working with at the time was like, Ro, you need to write a book. And I was like, oh gosh, that sounded like such a daunting task. I'm like, write a book? That just sounds like a lot of work, right? And he was like, you know, a book is only 2 pages. And I was like, 2 pages? Yeah, that's a book. And for whatever reason, because he was able to plant that seed with me, I was able to think differently, reimagine, adapt to what else writing a book could look like. And I started writing. I took the pressure off of myself. It took the pressure off of me to produce. And the first book I wrote was probably a little over 20 pages. And then they just got longer and longer because adaptation to me is like a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets. The more you're going to get better at it. You're going to get better at adapting. You're going to get better at whatever the thing is that you're doing. Right? Hey, y'all, welcome. So I had to just get in the game, get some skin in the game. Whew. So, you know, taking you back. I remember when the next book came out, because, like I said, I wanted to eat well. Well, how do I eat well? Because, you know, a lot of us would say, because I was working at an alternative health business at the time where they sold herbs. And, you know, I worked in pretty much every aspect of that company. I helped to create products. I was in shipping. I eventually started managing shipping because I was practicing the principles that I was studying every day. I was getting raises every few months because I wasn't playing, right? So then the book came... How to eat healthier for less, eating healthier for less. Because I noticed that it was a void in the market. People couldn't understand, well, I want to eat healthier, but it's expensive. And it can be. So how do I eat healthier? So I came up with that. And then for me, because I really was sitting on low funds, I'd scaled back on the extras. I ate a lot of the same things a lot of time. But I knew I had to be disciplined about what I was putting in my body because my body was already under a significant amount of stress. Mental stress. Mental stress can relieve itself in the physical body. I told y'all that story about when I had that argument with my boyfriend and I went to my naturopathic doctor because at the time I was doing a detox, right? Looked at my blood, a drop of my blood under the petri dish. She said, what did you do this morning? I said this, and this. Oh yeah, and I had an argument with my boyfriend and she's like, come look at your argument. That made stress kills beyond real for me. So I became more conscious and aware of how long or how often I was allowing myself to be in a stressed out state of being because I saw it actually really does physically affect your biology. Wow. So I was like, all right. Thank you, Shirley. All right, I got to eat better, even if it means I got to eat some of the same things for, multiple times. But you know what I used to tell myself? It won't be like this always. I knew that I had to make a sacrifice, but if you don't waste the sacrifice, you guys, you're going to come out. Everything changes. This too shall pass. But what is going to come out on the other side depends on the quality of what you put in the now moment. Will it be easy? Absolutely not. For me, it wasn't. I didn't know when I was coming out. That's why I was like, I got to eat a certain way. Because I don't know exactly when this particular pattern is going to be over. I know that I'm working hard towards it. I know that I'm willing to step outside of my comfort zone to get it. But I didn't know when. I just knew. I just had conviction. I said, it won't be like this always. I will call the shots on my time again. So, going back to the question. Thank you, Kai. Does financial scarcity stop you from adapting? I say no. Because when I was dealing with one of the most stressful times in my adult life, I didn't have a lot of money. It forced me to be creative about what else I could do to create prosperity. It forced me to think about what are the other avenues that I can go down in order to find the resources that I need in order to take the next best step. So I had to come up first. I did self-reflection, right? What choices have I been making that have gotten me to these results? Now I got to make. I want to make some new choices, right? Well, what do I want my present and my future to look like? Okay. Now I come up with a plan for that. Now I put the plan down. Now I put some action steps under the plans. And then what makes it extra super gangster, and this is where the follow through comes in, which is a superpower to me. You put some deadlines on those action steps. And then you keep your word to yourself. And as I saw one of the people that I was so excited to see him speak about his story the other day. And I've seen him deal with a significant amount of social abuse because of the way he thought, because of the ideas that he was putting out into society that people could not relate to. People felt like he's crazy. They used to call him a quack. And now he's the go-to source. In this pandemic time where people are freaking out, he's like, oh yeah, remember that information I was telling you about? Yeah, relevant now. And he said, I used to get so much social abuse, but I would keep taking a step. Boom. And I would keep taking a step. Boom. And as he continued to deal with the ridicule, boom. And as he continued to sit in the embarrassment, it couldn't even walk into certain bars because he was so popular. Boom. He realized that I can handle that. It's just opinions. Boom. It's just emotions. Boom. And now he's the trusted source. Almost 30 years later? Powerful. Now, do we all have to sit in something like that? Absolutely not. But it was such a powerful story. It's like, don't worry about the naysayers. Don't worry about, who knows exactly how. It's going to fall into place eventually. Just do the best you can. Put the best quality of work, best quality of you into this present moment. And then let spirit take over the rest. Then let life take over the rest. Then let the universe guide you on the rest. I don't know what the words are that you use for that higher intelligence, that thing that enables us all to coexist, that's intelligent enough to hold everything together in this space. You're not going it alone, but we do co-create our reality with our choices. So what are you choosing? One of the greatest resources that we all have that we do not have to pay for is what? Put it in the chat. Let me see if y'all can throw it out there. I see some PPU students in here, so I know y'all probably know the answer, but y'all might not remember. What is one of the greatest assets, one of the greatest resources that we all have that you do not have to pay for, that you could be using right now? Who gonna throw something in the chat? I want to see before I say something. Am I giving y'all the answer? It's one of the greatest resources we all sitting on. Hope is amazing, Ernst. It's one of the biggest resources, absolutely. It's not the one I'm talking about in this particular moment. Gratitude, another amazing resource. Barbara, not this particular one I'm talking about in this moment. Ooh, another great one. Callie, not this particular one I'm talking about in this moment. The internet, you better talk about it, Shirley. Very close, but not this particular basic, because everybody don't have the internet. Everybody has this resource. And that is the power to ask for help. How many people are embarrassed to ask for help because you're so busy wearing the mask of strength? Whatever that means or looks like to you. Or you're supposed to have it all together. You're asking for help. That is one of the most powerful resources I have used throughout my life to create success. More valuable than money. Because you can create more money with more asking, right? Is something you don't need the money. No, I shouldn't say more valuable. Just as valuable in a similar pool, because we need money to function in this matrix. But you can give somebody else money, but you know what I'm saying? It is a conduit. It is a catalyst for. It is an inspiration for making more money. Asking for help. How many of you have asked for a particular kind of help you may need right now in order to start a business, in order to get a new thought, in order to collaborate with someone else who has maybe a skill that you don't have, but if you bring your two talents together, you could create something amazing. I know you knew this, Shirley. So is financial scarcity stopping you from adapting? Because you have just busted resources wide open with a simple gesture that we all have, and that's asking for help. You may need to know the resource for the website that can help you to produce a logo for $5. Who, what? There's so much out there for us to be able to use, take advantage of, but are you asking the right questions to get you to those right things? Are you even coming up with a plan so that you have some questions to ask? Are you allowing guilt or shame or any low vibrational emotion to stop you from asking out of embarrassment or uncertainty? Will you tap into your courage so that you can open more doors of opportunity for yourself through asking? So definitely an awesome resource in order for you to allow yourself the courage to adapt. Taking action, consistent action, disciplined action every day can give you the courage to adapt. Because you're armed with whatever you think you might need in order to take the next best step. Confidence breeds adaptation. If you get more information under your belt, so I ask you again, does financial scarcity stop you from adapting? Where are your answers? I want to see what you say in the chat. Does it stop you from adapting? Financial scarcity, not feeling like you have enough of the moolah. Ernst says, I was just about to say that sometimes it's not just asking for help, but knowing what to ask help for. Yes. Take it one step further. Flush it out. But it does require our discipline. It does require our vision. It does require us to be willing, right, to be creative, to think to think and not be reactionary. Be proactive, not be so like, react. Get on it now. Think now, ahead. Not just reacting to what's happening. Okay, that's happening. But what am I doing? What's my next best step? What are some of the greater possibilities out there? What are some of the things that I always wanted to do, but I never gave myself the opportunity to explore? Who could I collaborate with? Who has a skill that maybe I don't have, but I have a skill, and if we combine them together, it could be something amazing. Are you willing to sacrifice and scale back in order to give yourself a greater chance of success on another end of things? Are you willing to plan? Are you willing to put deadlines? Are you willing to put action steps with those plans? Are you willing to put deadlines on those action steps? Are you willing to keep your word to yourself and develop more integrity for your life? Because if you're doing one thing over here, more than likely, based on a quote that I really like, you're probably doing the same thing over there in your life. So if you're disciplined over here, you can carry that discipline into other areas of your life. If you're not keeping your word over here, you probably ain't keeping your word over there. Thank you, Jay. So I just wanted to drop in and drive this message home even more so this week. The power to adapt, the courage to adapt. Is it time? Is it time to rethink things? Are you giving yourself permission to do so? You on it, Shirley? Beautiful. Oh, beautiful, honey. My pleasure. Our greater days are ahead of us, especially if we put some great quality us into this now. Because this now is birthing the next now. Birthing the next version of you and what you're capable of. Is it easy? Not for a lot of us. It wasn't for me. Is it possible? Absolutely. Will it take some vision and some hard work and some consistent discipline? Probably. That's what most of the champions have to do. That's why the why got to be strong. That goal got to be so dang on juicy on the other side of your hard work and discipline that it's worth it to you. Okay, so does anybody have anything they want to share with me or that you want to ask of me before I get out of here? I hope I busted up that myth that financial scarcity stops you from adapting. I say no. Resourcefulness can help you to adapt with or without a lot of money. There's some people creating astounding things with the least amount of money. Creativity is prosperity, right? Discipline is prosperity. Growth, expansion of skills, prosperity. Innovation gets birthed out of those things. And I'm sure others. Ernst says, I needed this. I'm making one of the biggest moves of my career today. Bless up, good for you. Supportive, empowered wind at your back. Go get it. Go get it. Dean says, thank you for the words of encouragement. Time to make it happen. Bless up. We are our heroes. We are our heroes. So let's get it. All right, y'all. Have a good one. See you soon.